Oh, I was like, why am I singing Uptown Funk? I think a bunch of your battles, Lindsay, are like set to Uptown Funk with
Are
like
they?
Serena versus Aria. That like
Uh-huh.
there's all these AMVs and Uptown Funk is because I was like, why is that song even in my? But that was
Oh,
one of the
that's
ones
so
I was
funny.
watching. Is yeah, they put it to Uptown Funk. So welcome, both of you. I have never met either of you before, so this is an exciting day for me. I always like to get to meet new people.
It's great to meet you.
I
Great.
get I get to explore everyone's origin story. So the way that the free panel works is everybody comes and we just kind of all hang out and get to know each other. And then all the questions we reserve for the VIP. So anybody that grabbed tickets to hang out, grab autographs, do a personalized audio or video, and then all those folks get to come and ask whatever kind of questions they want in the VIP panel. But I will make sure we could see. The comments will be on the right-hand side of your screen.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So you'll see. I don't ignore comments. My favorite is when they're always like, is Brad even paying attention to comments? And then like I'll put their comment on and just like wink to let them know that I am. But
You are watching.
we want to encourage people to hang out. And the hangouts are Anairis, do you have fun this morning in hangouts?
I did. Everyone's so sweet.
I love when people are struck by just how like genuine the hangouts are. Like it's just two people like literally just shooting the breeze and talking. Yeah.
It's just chill vibes. We are vibing. It's my favorite.
Yeah. Oh yay. Good. So yeah, welcome to Color World Live. We'll start, Lindsay, your square is next to my square. So what where did you come from? How did you get a microphone in your hand? Did you start out in theater? Tell me your origin story.
Okay, I actually started off as an animator
Okay.
in college. Yeah. I went to college for animation and I was the only girl in my class. So I ended up doing all the female voices for our student projects.
What?
And before we graduated, I'm like, I don't want to do animation anymore. I want to do animation.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. So I just decided to follow that instead. Didn't use my degree for anything else. So I'm like,
life.
Yeah, I can kind of transfer that into voiceover, I guess. And I really started, I had gone, I've always been interested in voiceover. A big fan of Rob Paulson. Made a major like influence on my life growing up. But I never thought that I could do voiceover as like an actual job.
Yeah.
First, I was way too scared. I'm so shy. I'm like, no, that's not for me. But then once I started doing that, I was like, wait, no, this is what I have to do. So I ended up going to a voiceover networking event.
Okay.
And that my future husband was throwing in New York City, and haven't looked back since.
That's amazing. Were you excited then to find out that you record by yourself in anime? Was that like appealing then as a shy person? When you're like, oh, thank heavens they're gonna let me in this booth and then I can just yell and scream with no one around.
Yeah. Well, anime. I'm kind of new to the anime scene. I started off in like video games and commercials and prelay, and then I fell in love with anime. I've been a huge fan of Pokemon ever since I was a kid. Season 1, I was right there watching it, like as it changed the world. Didn't know what anime was, and I'm like, wait, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And I spent an entire summer vacation sitting in the library trying to learn Japanese. I was just so obsessed. But yeah, getting into anime now, it's really cool. Like how different it is, how beautiful the art style is. I love it so much.
Very cool. So are you the voice of something in a commercial that we just don't know that it's you until you're about to tell us?
I've done a lot of commercials.
Yeah? What's your favorite?
There was a couple of years ago, I did this campaign for eBay. It was like a holiday campaign. And it was like super Christmassy and everything, but they're like, just read it like you don't care about Christmas.
That's
and,
therapy sometimes.
and it was so fun.
That is awesome. Okay, so we'll have to. I know Bryce is in a Red Bull commercial, and he loves that it lives forever on YouTube because it was a really like innuendo-filled Red Bull commercial about this. There was this guy like doing smoke signals, and so yeah, it was that one's a fun one. And then I was in one of Anairis's hangouts. Eric Vale is the voice of Dave and Buster's, and so like. Once you know that, you're like, you can't unhear like just like Eric. And so like I text him every time that commercial comes on. Anairis, I heard in one of your hangouts you got started when you were 12. How did you get a microphone in your hand at 12?
So I'm very similar to Lindsay in the sense that I was also very shy. I always loved acting, like always loved acting. I was just super shy, and I was just like, oh, well, I want to do theater, but I don't at all have the personality, let alone the mental capacity for it because anxiety. But I felt I loved it so much, and I think I was watching anime, you know, I think around the age of 10. I mean, I always watched it. Like, I grew up on Pokemon, of course. Like, Pokemon was great. But I started watching anime, I think, around 10, and as I was enjoying the dubs of back then, particularly the Funimation dubs back then, because that slapped, I thought it was really interesting, and I think Laura Bailey had this, she was doing commentary for the Fullmetal Alchemist Conquer Shambhala movie. She plays Lust in Fullmetal Alchemist, and she was discussing how she approached the character, how it wasn't just kind of fitting into a cookie cutter, you know, sexy personality. It was, you know, it was exploring the character and exactly what could inform the performance in regards to approaching the voice. And I was like, huh, that's very interesting. And I got into it ever since then, and I started on like online forums, like I think back in the day, like, you know, just these voice acting forums basically. And I did that for years until 2018 when I got my first anime industry role, and yeah, and I've been here.
Okay, so how do you go from like lurking around the communities and kind of like trying to participate online? How did you get ready? What did you do to be ready for when 2018 rolled around?
You know, I think back then voice acting was a hobby for me. Like, it was something I was passionate about, but it was more of a hobby just because I lived in, I think, Georgia at the time. So I was like nowhere near Texas or New York or LA. And I just kind of always worked on it. And at first I think I started just mimicking a lot. And then eventually I started learning how to make my own performances.
Okay.
And I did a lot of that. I worked on a lot of indie games. Like, I have years of experience in like indie games, particularly, and like college animations and such. And a lot of it I would end up doing for free just because I was really passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I did that for years, and then I guess because I was doing it for so long, and because I guess I had so much experience in the indie world.
Yeah.
People could recognize me, and I was able to get opportunities from studios. And then I got my first anime role, which was Kimono Friends, and then having my first anime role opened the doors for more things. And then after that was Ruby, and Ruby again opened more doors.
Yeah.
You know, it's a domino effect, honestly.
So how did you get in touch with Sound Cadence then? Because I love, that was one of my favorite stories of this year, is learning. We had Amberly Connors and got to know all about Sound Cadence. Like, how did you find Sound Cadence?
Sound Cadence, I was always Amber, Marissa, and all of them. They were like kind of all my peers because like I remember them from back in the day. I just like was like, hey, Sound Cadence, these are some cool people, let me submit to them, and I did. And I auditioned for them constantly. And,
yay!
I think before Kimono Friends, I worked on a game with them called Regalia.
Okay.
And it's this game that came out recently on Switch and PS4 and all that. And I got to do work for that. And then, you know, Kimono Friends, they needed so many girls.
Yes.
So hi! And I voice crested Porcupine, and it's really fun, super fun.
Very cool. So, either of you gamers? Yes. A little bit. Okay. Anairis, what is your favorite? What do you have in your hand? Are you a mobile? Do you PC? Do you console?
Usually console, but lately, I'm kind of obsessed with Phasmophobia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know if anyone's heard of it, but it's this horror co-op game, right?
Okay.
And you are hunting for ghosts. It's just like Ghost Adventures, but a video game, and it's pretty fun. And I've desensitized myself from being terrified of horror games because I'm usually I hate horror games. It's like, oh wow, you want me to do something? I don't want to. I will just sit here and not let anything happen. You can't progress. No. But I've been desensitized to it now because it's just like, oh, well, this is fun. And I've just been playing with friends, and it's pretty bad. I'm like level 34 on it. So there's no reason for this, but yeah. But when I'm not playing that, I'm either playing games like Hollow Knight, a lot of Soulsborne games, Metrovania, platformers, JRPGs for sure. I always loved JRPGs. But yeah.
Okay, Lindsay, what you said you do a little. What's your little?
A little bit. I have like no time anymore. I have kids,
Good.
and like if I try to take out my games, like they steal them from me. So when I actually can access my games, I'm still stuck on Animal Crossing.
Okay.
I love like all those kind of relaxing games where I don't have to think too hard.
Yep.
I was a big fan of Spyro when I was younger. Yeah, that was like my ultimate game. But I mean, I started off with the original Pokemon Game Boy games. And I did finish the last Pokemon game that came out.
Sun and Moon?
Or the Sword and Shield, unless there was another one. There might have been another one after that. Yep. But I did finish that one, so I feel accomplished with that. But yeah, I get like 5 minutes here and there I haven't even played Among Us yet.
Ooh,
I know, I have to.
Yeah, my kids are big fans of. In fact, my 11-year-old moderates for us. He used to do conventions with me before the zombie apocalypse started, and so he's very personable, plays games, watches anime, loves this whole world. Doesn't even blink. Doesn't matter how famous the person is, he doesn't blink. And so he's been fun, and he loves anytime he's like, "Do you play Among Us?" And then they'll like swap stories back and forth. So favorite type. What's your favorite type, Lindsay? You said you made your way through Sword and Shield. What's your favorite type of Pokemon? But that's a normal type.
The cute ones. That's what
aren't all the starters cute? Let's see.
Yeah,
there's probably some ugly. There's probably some ugly starters. I mean, the birds aren't very cute to start with.
Oh, some of them are. What is it? Starly and Diamond and Pearl. There's a lot of really cute ones.
Starly is because Starly looks like kind of a fat bird, but like nobody. I don't think anybody thinks like Spearow is like a cute.
Spearow's edgy. He's cool.
Yeah, but just not on the cute. None of the cute. Let's see.
No, it doesn't fit aesthetic.
Starly is kind of adorable. It looks like really derpy. It's just like it's just a fat, like a pigeon that just ate too much. Do you remember in the beginning of movies they had these little animated shorts, and they had these like. Okay.
Yeah, I remember. Those were so cute.
What Starly looks like is one of those birds from those animated short movies.
Exactly. I've been wanting to rewatch the Pokemon movies because I love the series in general. Like I grew up on the series, like heckin' love Pokemon. But the movies were always something else.
Yeah.
Like I want to sit down and like rewatch the older ones because all of them are so good, especially the third one with Entei, and Molly.
There's one where Pseudo Wudo, there's like gas is like filling the city, and like Pseudo Wudo comes back for this guy. I tell you, do you remember?
No, I don't remember that one.
Oh man, I'll have to see if I can look it up while we're on here. There's a movie where Pseudo Wudo, because it's one of our favorites. Rachel really likes the derpy Pokemon. And so Sudowoodo is like, we love it. And so we try to, we're hipsters. We like a lot of the, I mean, Gengar obviously is an exception. I love ghost types so much that it's hard not to, but I like Heracross is a favorite of mine. And not, I remember the other day when we were on the panel with Bill and Tara and Megan, everyone just like staring at me. They're like, "Oh, your favorite's Heracross." Okay. What Pokemon is that again? So, what about
remember
you?
when there was just 150 Pokemon?
151.
That was it. I used to know all of them, and that was like my biggest accomplishment of the year.
Did you know them from memory, or did you know them because of the Pokemon song? I
remembered them. Oh, you know what? It might have been from the song. But I did remember them. I don't remember all of them now. And how many are there now?
808. Man, does the Pokedex tell me?
It feels like there's more than 800, to be honest.
That's amazing.
So. I think there's, let's see, Pokedex. There's 151 in Kanto. There's 100 in Johto, 132 in Hoenn, 93 in Sinnoh, 98 in Unova, and then...
Oh, 93 in Sinnoh?
There's only 93 in Sinnoh. It's a pretty small... and then Galar? Why do I have... It says nothing from Galar. Oh, because I haven't evolved my... Farfetched. He Surfetched, I think is Farfetch'd.
Surfetch'd.
Yeah.
And then the sliders. There's some. It's probably as much as Sinnoh, I imagine. I don't think there was that many.
Okay. I've seen 609. So I don't think there can be more than 800. There's not even room enough for.
Now name all of them.
I can't. I don't know you know what? I'm dumb. Sword and Shield isn't even in here in Pokemon Go. In fact, I think they're only Gen 1 through 5 in Pokemon Go right now.
Maybe it is about 800 altogether.
All right, let's go to the Power of Us. I think is the one that Sudowoodo goes back and saves everybody from the gas that's filling up the city. The movies are such like emotional roller coaster. Like there's a lot.
They are.
Let's see what the Pokedex number is. There's probably nobody's saving us in chat. All right, Pokedex.
Chat's like, I don't know either.
They should. I would think by now someone. Okay, let's see where the Pokedex ends. 801.
We were about right.
Am I? Okay.
Yeah, because we said 800 from the start. Like you said 805, I think.
Oh no, 893.
893.
Okay.
Kelly came in with the save last minute.
Man. Oh man, I haven't even seen these. Man, these things are cool. I'll tell you what, they have done such an amazing job continuing to come up with creatures that just look really. All right, I'm gonna put this on screen. Some of these are really, really, really cool. I am a big fan of like representative things. Like Overwatch was such a spectacular game because if you weren't white and skinny, like you could find an Overwatch character that looked like you, and it was such a breaking the mold move. You know what I mean? To be able to find a playable character that looked like you, and I'm excited to see. I feel like Pokemon has done such a good job, kind of defying everything. You know, like you can't accuse the Pokemon company of making Pokemon look like anything other than just really cool.
Yeah. You have all types, honestly. And they've gotten cooler looking,
These ones are the ones that are in Galar. The Berserker.
Persona looks so pretty.
Obstagoon is the Galar evolution of what's that little squirrel guy? Somebody say.
Oh, I
know what I'm talking about?
But I don't know like the name. Yeah.
So neither play Pokemon Go then?
I haven't played Pokemon Go since that summer when everyone was playing Pokemon Go.
Oh, so sad, Anairis. What about you?
I do play Pokemon Go, but I have to like buy more space
Do
to
it.
get stuff.
Do
I know.
it. It's only
I
200
know.
coins. 200
I just
coins.
have it like auto refreshing in the background, like counting my steps. And I'm like, oh, look at all this
Oh.
cool stuff I got this week.
Do you use the gacha? The wrist?
Oh, I don't. No, I have it just like connected to my phone. So I guess wherever
Okay.
my phone goes, it's
Yep.
counting my steps. But I'm still trying to evolve like the originals whenever I can. I'm so far behind.
Oh man, these are now. I'm pretty sure. I feel like Toxtricity is one of that's Kellen's. I feel like Kellen Goff. That's one of his babies. Is Toxtricity.
Yeah.
Oh man, these are. Oh, and then Yamper. That's who Tara plays in the anime.
Yeah.
I do remember that. I remember a Dreadnought came out. Oh, I think it Gigamaxed or something, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember. Floss. Oh, Wooloo is
Erica Mendez in Twilight Wings, at least.
But it Hop Griffin, Puatu. That's his like his homie is his Wooloo. Okay, so speaking of Twilight Wings, I was really impressed with the depth of Twilight. Even though there's 7 minutes, I feel like it has a very different look and feel from the main series anime. Anairis, what is so different? I would imagine it's intentional, but what did they do to Twilight to make it so different?
I think definitely a lot of it. I think it's just having a bigger budget. You could definitely see like animation wise that. So much. It like not saying that like Pokemon looks bad by any means. It's just like they really like put their time and energy into it. I still think about how like Nessa's animated. Her episode is animated so gorgeously. It's so good.
Yeah.
But, other than that, like you have a really great personalized soundtrack. You know that fits Galar region like perfectly. Like you could like watch or play Sword and Shield and like look at Pokemon Twilight Wings. It's like, oh yeah, this does. It feels similar. I think on top of that, you also just have like it's not so much about Ash, right? At
all.
It's about these different characters and what their arcs are, whatever it is, whether it's like a really deep arc or even just for that moment, and you get attached to that character and that with the animation, the music, the voice acting, it's fantastic. Yeah,
I was in getting ready for this, is my first exposure to the anime at all is getting ready for this week. I just don't live a life where I can stop to do things. I have to do it while I'm doing some other things. And I definitely notice I can't watch Pokemon and do something else because so much of it is being seen. There's some animes in which, man, it's a great audiobook. Like even if they're fighting, like there's just so much acting that's going on and it's great. And I can be doing this other things and the performance really shines through. But Pokemon is the first time where I'm like, man, I feel like I have to have this on screen. But then I'm seeing like these screens full of like really amazing Pokemon, and I'm like, 2 minutes later, I'm like, oh shoot, I was supposed to be doing something. What am I? It's very tough to. It's definitely geared towards an audience that they want to be watching. Yeah. Exactly. Journeys feels like, it opens up in the hospital, and there's those two kids that are. They talk like they're getting out. They're like, oh, you'll never get out. It's like, oh no, they're like incarcerated in these hospitals and they can't like.
Where are Twilight Wings?
On Twilight Wings. Yeah. And then one of them gets well enough to be able to leave the hospital, and then his goal is like, oh, I gotta help. Help. Yeah.
And it's so different from normal Pokemon stuff. I think Twilight Wings. Not that it's dark, but it does tackle, I guess, more complex things than the series does. So it's very, I guess it feels more mature and nice. Yep. It's really nice.
Yeah, I was really impressed that, Nessa's dealing with, I love her reaction to essentially being taunted. You know? She's like, what about my modeling career? What? You got like, and then like she runs in there, is like, oh, I'm gonna be the best at both. And I thought that was a really cool. That was a really cool message. But she didn't. It wasn't like a split decision. You know, she was out there and swimming around and almost had to go back and like she had to
Ground
make
herself.
yeah before she felt like she could say, you know, one way or the other whether or not she felt like she could do both.
Yeah, I mean that's what it was. She was challenged, you know. Because I think what had really happened in that moment is like, you know, she was doubting whether or not she could handle both, right? Like, can I handle being both a trainer and a model? And when she was challenged on it directly from external, like from something external, it made her upset because she's like, no, I can, right? And then she continues onwards, and as she's grounding herself, as she's reminded why she started doing, you know, why she was interested in training in the first place, she was like, oh, no, I can do this. I am capable. And she has a invigorated sense of herself by the end of the episode that is just so, it's nice. It's really nice. Every time I watch that episode, it makes me cry because it's like one, Pokemon, you know, getting to voice in Pokemon, but also like, you know, she's just such a grounded character, I think. And even just in that episode, like you can understand that, you know, she's not perfect, you know, even though like she's overachieving and she works hard at what she does, both in her training and in her model career, which I empathize with because like I'm also a person who likes to like dabble in different things, but I also want to be the best at them, you know, or my best at them. So yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, I like that it started with a loss. You know, she's like in the locker room, head in her hands, like, and you know, and then you hear the announcer like, "Oh, Nessa's out!" Like, it
She's
just
mad. She's like,
yeah. I love it. It is. They've done to do what they did in 7 minutes is awesome. There was a lot of really a testament to the story writing in terms of being able to to take us through. Do you know if there's more? Do we get to revisit Hop and Nessa and all of these folks from Twilight?
I do know that we just had, or the Japanese released a little sequel thing, like a 1-episode sequel that mostly featured, I think, Raihan, mostly Leon. I think it was more of Leon's episode again.
Oh, Leon.
But then you had Raihan there. I think Marnie got to speak for this first time, and the Japanese version is out.
Right.
I have no idea what's going on otherwise. I do hope that there's more of a solid season. Because I think what they did with Twilight Wings was really impressive, and it'd be really cool if they could explore that more. But all I know is that, you know, most likely we're going to get more of the Twilight Wings gang in Pokemon Journeys. Most likely I will not be reprising as Nessa, just how that works. But I'm sure whoever does play her will be fantastic. So,
well, I really appreciated. I thought it was spectacular. All right, Lindsay. Aria is such a different. So Pokevision is something that was like totally new to me. I didn't I was like, what is that? So can you tell it, like, what is Pokevision and how does it fit into the Pokemon universe?
I don't know. It was so long ago. I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
So it seems like there is almost like an American Idol or Pokemon Idol that takes place inside the world of Pokemon, and that the battle between Aria and Serena is not so much your traditional Pokemon battle as it is that they had to like compete against each other.
Right.
And it's again like not really having brought any knowledge to the Pokemon universe, was kind of surprised to learn of all this stuff that's in there. Your Finnegan, it looks like, is your You're a little Firefox, and then
Yeah.
I would imagine, is it Braxton? Braxton?
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. Evolves.
Yes. I guess because it takes so much work to evolve something in Pokemon Go, I imagine that it was harder. It seems like they evolve pretty easily do you have ideas on the evolution? Do you remember your Fennekin evolving?
I only played Aria for the first half. I ended up moving halfway through the season, and I had a high-risk pregnancy, so I didn't get to finish her journey. But I do know in the beginning, I did voice her when she was in disguise, and she didn't really know Serena yet, but she was trying to encourage her. And her Pokemon evolved later on after their battle.
Okay. Kalos Queen or Kalos Queen is the crown that they're fighting for in the series. So Pokevision is kind of and it's interesting. Different trainers can submit. There's like it very much is like almost like a Pokemon idol inside of the Pokemon universe, and so they you can be like a battle trainer, but then you can also be like a performance trainer. And so Aria ends up being more of a performance trainer than than your battle trainer. Sweet. What are some things that both of you have on tap this year that you either just announced or just booked, things that you're excited about? Lindsay, what are projects that you're working on now that you're really excited for people to see or to find out about?
There's a lot of stuff that I'm not allowed to talk about yet.
Anything that's out of NDA.
Let's see. What is out of NDA? Everything's under NDA still. There's a lot of stuff going on, but I can't talk about it yet, though.
Are you spending your time more in the world of video games or anime or cartoons or commercials? What are you?
Well, most of my my work right now is e-learning, but there's super fun stuff. I'm splitting evenly between prelay, anime, and video games. I can say that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of are you a cold read person? Do you go and dig into a backstory? Like, how do you, when you step into the booth, do you want to see it for the first time when it's on the screen in front of you, or do you want to know ahead of time? Like, what is your method or your style in terms of getting in the booth?
Usually I like to see the script at least once beforehand. Okay. That does help to kind of get some sort of flow going with the read, but I don't want to get it too early. I don't want to read the script too much because then you can get kind of locked into a particular read. Yep. So I'd rather have kind of an idea in my head what I want to do, and then have the director decide what's the best way to go with this character. Yeah. So maybe a day ahead of time. I like to see it.
But nothing more than that, or you're just there's too much.
You get in your head too much.
Yeah, right on. And then what, in terms of like East Coast versus Texas versus West Coast, what has it been like to be on the East Coast side of things?
Well, I started on the East Coast for about 15 years of my career.
Right on.
And then I moved to Texas, had a baby, so I kind of just got stuck in e-learning. Yeah. And now I'm kind of exploring the whole Texas anime scene, which is, I love it so much. It's so much fun.
Very cool. And then have you done, there's like Bang Zooms out west, a lot of video game studios are out west. Have you found that in 2020, your opportunities, now that Source Connect is such a big deal and everybody can, do you feel like have you found yourself taking a look at stuff that's out west?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more opportunities now for in LA and other parts of the world. I would say a lot of my video games before the whole pandemic, a lot of them are overseas. I get a lot of work from like Russia and Denmark, all over the place that you wouldn't really think of. Yeah. But yeah, I'm kind of used to working everywhere. I was doing remote dubbing before it was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of neat to see how the voiceover world is even coming closer together. I feel, being so isolated.
Yeah. What do you think, Anairis? What has your 2020 been like in terms of kind of making the world a smaller place?
Gosh, 2020, I feel like remote dubbing has definitely opened up a lot more opportunities for me. I think it made my career progress much faster than I anticipated. And yeah, I do get that sense that, like, now we have a lot more crossover, right? Like, you could see Texas and LA actors in the same cast, and same with like New York and LA actors, like everything crossover. And as long as you have a good setup and, you have everything that you need for remote dubbing, like, you can work anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It's really, really cool. And I remember at the very beginning of this pandemic, nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew what broadcast quality meant exactly.
Yes.
So a lot of voice actors were leaning on each other, like, do you think this setup works? Do you think this sounds okay? And there was so much support, and there still is a whole lot of support right now. And I really like that. I feel like in general, the community has grown a lot more close.
It's very cool. In addition to, I feel like everybody moving. I don't know if it's just the people in my circle, but a bunch of people have switched places during the pandemic, which, for so long there was like East versus Central versus West versus, and now it really does, A, with people moving, and then B, with kind of everybody. It does feel like a community. It feels like people are really, first of all, there's so much work now that everything is online. Like everything needs a voice. Like content is king. Things that companies were thinking about or looking at are now being like, no, let's do this thing. No, let's do this thing. I feel like trends have accelerated. People that were thinking about how much of their life is going to be lived online have kind of, like, those percentages of how much time you spend online have really been pushed. So it's been, do you feel like silver linings, Anairis? Has there been a lot of silver linings to your 2020?
Yeah, I like, again, like I don't think I would have gotten, like, the opportunity to work more LA work if this whole remote dubbing hadn't happened. I think I don't know. I can't really think so much for me. Like, that's the only real thing I could think of. But other than that, from what I've observed for the community, I feel like there's more opportunities, again, for crossover, not just for like professional, but there's also like, there's more opportunities, I think, for aspiring voice actors, people who are just about ready to make the leap, but they're not like in the right place. So, you're seeing, especially with like the new cast for the upcoming anime seasons or the current anime seasons, you're seeing totally new actors stepping into the field, and they're killing it. A lot of POC actors into the field, as we become more aware that, POC representation is very important in this industry. And I think there's just been more opportunity, more time to sit down and think, how things work. And I think that's why POC representation has been getting better. Just because, like, now actors and directors can discuss and see like what exactly this conversation is. And there's no time to like really get distracted. It's like, it's right there. Let's discuss this. So I think there's been just, a lot more understanding, a lot more empathy, and a lot more opportunities, and that's cool.
All right, Lindsay, what are your favorite silver linings from 2020?
Spending a lot more time with my family.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2 kids. I have a 14-year-old who has been voice acting for 10 years now. So he's still doing remote school, so he's able to work during the day, even if school's going on, which is pretty cool. And I have a 4-year-old who is just now getting into voice acting herself, and she is such a performer. She'll make up songs and be like, "Look at me!" I'm like, "We have to get you on stage or something." But yeah, definitely spending a lot more time with them. I just feel like the whole industry is just, I don't know, it's just so much closer now. We're all kind of going through the same thing.
Yes.
You know, so I would say that might be the silver lining.
Yeah, for the first time in human history that since really a world war, right? Like if we're being honest, since the Second World War, there hasn't been anything that as a species, as a human species, that we've all been forced to deal with simultaneously. You know, even things like Korea and Vietnam, you know, there were a lot of people that had the luxury to protest, that they didn't go off to war, and they didn't know what people in their own country were dealing with and what they were being forced through. But for the first time, it doesn't matter how rich you are or how poor you are or what color you are, like the pandemic is very real. And almost to a large extent, the American political system has forced itself onto the rest of the world, where we used to have these nice little, you know, you had your country and we had, you know, but for better or for worse, America hoisted itself and made the rest of the world kind of like deal with things that were happening in the US. And it very much feels like the world has become smaller as a result of our shared experience and as a result of the proliferation of the internet.
Yeah. That's for sure one of my favorite things. I think like that's a silver lining, I think, because I think for me, like I find empathy to be very important. I think that's something we can lack as a species sometimes, you know, as we all have different experiences. But the pandemic has definitely been a shared experience, and it's definitely been one where, you know, like there's so much more patience, so much more kindness, so much more of a kind of desire to be close to people, you know, like I feel like I've made a lot of friendships that, you know, I don't think would have otherwise happened if the pandemic hadn't occurred. And it's been nice, you know, in that way, at least.
I've been grateful for the slowdown. Like, I feel like my life was at such a pace that, man, my kids were we have 5, and they were just getting older. And, you know, there was 47 weeks on the road. We were doing conventions in 30 different states. And it just put the brakes on so much. This is the most I've seen Rachel in the 18 years we've been married. I don't even think in year 1, maybe, because we both worked at Walmart in the very beginning. It was kind of cool. We ended up inventorying an entire store like almost by ourselves, and Rachel, so we would spend 24 hours a day every day. That was pretty magical. But then, you know, as soon as school started back up again and she went to classes and I had already graduated, and so I was going off to work, it's been I definitely appreciate the pumping the brakes of in representation. I mean, so many things have been I feel like, Anairis, that some of these moments from 2020 could have been swept under the rug in a normal news cycle, in a normal, right, in your average year. And I'm very grateful that kind of everybody's watching now. There certainly is at one end of the spectrum, people are online too much, and they should set their device down and say a few less things. They should say a few less things. But then on the flip side of that, there's a lot of devices out in people's hands in 2020, and it was time. It was, frankly, it was very much time. And so, we're at that time of the year where, you know, we're thinking about what do you have a vision for 2021, Anairis? Do you have things that you want to do, goals that you've set for yourself? Have you started thinking about how close next year is?
For sure. Yes, because when the pandemic started, I actually decided to go back home with my parents. So I've been on the East Coast for the past few months. And so now, with my career having gone in a completely different direction than I expected, I now have to think about, okay, well, where am I going to go after this? And I've been, narrowing in on an answer, and it's just like, doing the prep for that, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, I think it's just been I think for 2021, I do want positive change, and then I hope that'll happen with a shift in political, cycles and all that. I want everyone to be safe. I want to see where we are after having such a life-changing experience, and how much more empathy we'll have, how much more patience we'll have. And I also want to see where the industry goes from here. So I guess, yeah, lots of general things. But I think for me personally, I want to see a year from now, I want to be somewhere else, and I don't know where the heck my career will go, because I can never predict what the heck my career is going to do, because I didn't predict this a year ago. I didn't predict anything a year ago. But yeah, I guess I'm looking forward to the future. So
Okay. All right, Lindsay, have you started your reflections? It's almost turkey time. The weather's getting colder. What do you think? What about 2021 for you?
I'm just looking forward to hugging everybody. I think 2021, once things are safe again, I just want to not push things off, like make time to see friends and do the things that I really want to do, and not make excuses. Just go and live life the way it's supposed to be. Just being locked up, it's given me time to reflect on like how much I don't do. And I think 2021 will be the time to do. That's my goals.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I think time to do is, I think there's a lot of optimism in the air, Anairis. I feel like it feels that way. It almost feels like things are beginning to get lighter. Whether it's the Christmas season or the regime change, whatever you want to. I definitely feel like there's something in the air that that people feel like, and for whatever it is, and maybe it's just a really welcome time of the year. I think so many people have the opportunity to be with family at this time of the year, and they think about, what is my life going to be like, and you start reflecting, and almost feel like the colder weather has that effect that reminds you that you're alive. It's easy to kind of just wake up and do it, and wake up and do it, and then when you're like, you're dressing differently, and you're, you know what I mean, it's just, there's something about this time of year. Are there things that are important to you ladies that you want to draw attention to? This is the time where you're more than welcome to do all the self-promotion you want. What are some things you want to take a look at as we say goodbye before we take a break for VIP? Things on the internet that you want to put people's attention to, anything that just came out that Anairis, what was the one that you said that you got the lead in for?
Irregular at Magic High School.
Okay.
It had the first season came out a few years ago, and season 2 just came out I think a few weeks ago now, and we have been simuldubbing it, and episode 1 of the English dub drops sometime today.
So it's brand new.
Yeah, super brand new, because I got to announce yesterday, which is exciting, and it is my first lead. I usually play like very spunky characters, or more, I think more in this range of like mature, or I guess the highest I've been that anyone's seen is Echidna. But this character is a totally different character from what I usually play, and I hope and I think everyone will enjoy it. But yeah, it's a pretty cool show, so please watch it on Funimation or Hulu. It will be
available. So it is on both. It's not just Hulu. It is streaming on Funimation as well.
Both. Yeah.
Okay.
And the trailer, I think, dropped on YouTube. So yeah.
Okay. I will see if I can't find that trailer and drop that link in there for people. And then Lindsay, what's something you want to direct us to?
So yeah, a lot of stuff is getting ready to be announced. So definitely follow my Twitter, L Sheppard VO, because that's probably where you'll hear things first. Also, if you're interested in voice acting, I'm the founder of Lone Star VO, which is a voice acting community, mostly for Texas voice actors, but we are open to voice actors all across the world. And we have free workouts and meetups, and we do classes, and we come together as a community, and it's just a great place to talk. And that's lonestarvo.com. And there's also a group on Facebook, Lone Star VO.
Okay, I'm gonna find that as well. I was trying to find, is the dub trailer out, Anairis, for that?
Yes, if you go on Anaplex's Anaplex US's YouTube, they have a dub that they just came out with like 40 minutes ago. So
40.
Yeah, I love it.
Like fresh. It's fresh. It's hot. Somebody get it, cool it down. I love it. It's like so new that you're like, oh no, it's not even an hour old. Okay, the subtitle one is everywhere. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody thought it would get an English dub, but here we are.
So there is the Lone Star VO that Lindsay was talking about, and then you said on Anaplex's YouTube. All right, Aniplex. I love their like little you know what I mean?
Their little tune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Funimation had a fun one too. Back
watching. Oh my gosh, what is Funimation's one?
I don't know what the new one is.
You should be watching.
Yeah, you should be watching. Funimation Entertainment. You should be watching.
Yes, I literally whispered it. It's so fun. Okay.
Yep.
All right, so here is the Aniplex YouTube. I got the link, and you're right. It is the first in the top left. You'll see. Let's see. Screen share, Chrome, Aniplex. There we go. When you go there, everyone, right there at the 1 hour ago. It's a minute 46. You can check out that trailer for The Irregular at Magic High School. Man, that's dope. I'll tell you what I would like to see for 2021 and beyond is I'd like to see an adult anime. Can we there's so many, everything's about high school, and I get it. It's a shared experience. We all go through it, but some of us are further removed from that high school.
Need more seinen.
And right, like where are the parents with kids anime? Where?
Well, we're getting.
I'm in.
I'm right.
Anime. Oh shoot! It's like this guy. He's like a yakuza, but then he's like.
Tell me.
He cooks. Like he's also a house husband. Yeah, he's yakuza, but he's also a house husband. So I haven't like looked into it. I just saw the premise. I'm like, that's awesome.
He's a mobster at night, but he stays home and he like cooks for his kids during the day.
Yeah,
that's okay. That's all right. I'll take it. We'll start there. But yeah, some of the best storytelling that's being told right now is being done in the anime world. That really incredible, complex. I mean, you saw what they did with Twilight in 7 minutes. Can we get this? I think that we're all a little bit more awake in 2020. We're all a little bit more aware of how unequal the world has been for too long, and I think it would be really cool to like you should be able to grow up and keep watching. You know, Harry Potter was cool, and that everybody just kept getting older and kept getting older and kept getting older. So I'd like to see, because they do like, oh, here's Boruto. Well, sure, but for those people that grew up with Naruto, like those people need to watch something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get that.
Their kids can watch Boruto, but the parents we're still here. We're still around. We still have money to spend. We can be your target
money.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out and for everybody giving us a chance to get to know you ladies. I'm excited. And then a reminder to everybody, I will shut up during VIP and you all get to ask questions. It is not too late to book a hangout, grab an autograph, get a personalized recording from any of our guests. And then the VIP will be Lindsay and Anairis and Tara and Megan. And so I'm excited to get everybody together. So we're all gonna go shove our faces right now and then come back and enjoy, be full and take all the questions on VIP. So we'll see you guys. Thank you so much for joining us and don't forget to catch them all.